Hey guys, how you going? Okay, I'm going to show you some things I'm going to go over on Rumble today, and also read some things, that I can read on here. Clown World said IT expert Matthew Sabia reveals a 98% chance that the White House used an AI voice cloning tool for Biden's call to Kamala. If you've heard that, I will play that on Rumble. The black community is going off on Kamala Harris because she's given all the money to immigrants. Colin Rugg. Maxwell Frost says anyone who calls Kamala Harris a DEI candidate is actually calling her the N-word. Meanwhile, Joe Biden has called her a DEI candidate. DEI hire, actually. Not joking, that's what he said. Oh, no. Okay. Massive scandal has emerged from the donations of LBRY received on the day Joe Biden dropped out. It reports that $20 million from a Swiss billionaire, Hans-Georg Wyss, was broken down into over 1.6 million donations across 400,000 donors. He's like the George Soros successor when it comes to pouring money into American politics. These donations are called smurfing, which happens when names of innocent small donors, usually the elderly, are used to funnel money into political campaigns, typically Democrats. James O'Keefe and OMG Media have previously discovered millions in questionable donations on LBRY. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, about Biden's back apparently. Biden doesn't even know he dropped out. Just look at his reaction after being questioned by the reporter. It's a coup, an insurrection. The Democrats are not the party of democracy. And this one, which is pretty funny, his mask blew off. It's not a real video, obviously. I have to say that for YouTube for some reason. Very weird that YouTube doesn't know the difference. These are Kamala Harris supporters now. Yep, typical. Look at them. Oh dear. And I've got a video coming up where a woman wonders where all the men are who support Kamala, who are Democrats. I don't think they're going to find people like this, but they're not going to find a real man. The Rubber Duck said Torah worshipping scholars and Jews want nothing to do with Bibi Netanyahu. He doesn't represent them. And I've been saying this for a long time. The people who actually, the Torah was the original, their Bible. Okay? Not the other thing they've got flying around. Okay, we've got Liberty Times and Politics. Hackers leak documents from Pentagon IT service provider Leidos. Files linked to a breach of Diligent Corp disclosed in 2023. Leidos clients include Pentagon, Homeland Security, and NASA. So I'm sure we're going to look forward to some stuff coming up about them. This woman. Wall Street Silver, where are all the men who look Republican but vote Liberal? Well, there aren't any, I'm sorry. Really, really sorry. This is from Lauren Chen. Okay, we're going to have a look at this one.
Where are all the men who look Republican but vote Liberal, specifically in LA? Because the golf course and the country club and the networking event and the whiskey bar all gives voted for Trump. The plant store and the thrift store just gives a tidge too artsy for my liking. I want a man, like emphasis on the man, manly man who voted for Obama.
Okay, so I understand totally this woman wanting a manly man, because who doesn't want that, right, ladies? Thing is, when it comes to manly men, there just aren't that many of them who are going to be happy voting for a party that tries to tell them to stop mansplaining or who expects them to identify as a feminist ally. It's like maybe there's a reason why that pattern exists, why it seems like all the manly men tend to vote right or for Republicans. It's because Democrats and leftists insist on emasculating men at every turn, and a manly man simply won't put up with that.
Where are all the men who
Exactly. All the good manly men are on the right. There you go. Cat Turd said 20 years in prison, 4 years until trial, insurrection. Marjorie Taylor Greene said pro-Hamas insurrectionists have infiltrated the Cannon House office building once again. 10 to 20,000 expected tomorrow. Why are these people not being prosecuted the same way J6 protesters were? Yeah, that's an insurrection, look. Go on, I want to see them go after them. Okay, we've got lots on with Comrade Cheadle and bombshells going off all over the place. Apparently, she has resigned. Geoloff's asking, where is Jill? Tucker's asking, where is Joe? Okay, Ultra MAGA Party said breaking an additional 3 individuals identified as suspicious in the attempted assassination of Trump. Ray McGowan said, hello Australia, is the penny beginning to drop yet? I've been waiting for this for years. Albanese will not sack Immigrations Minister Giles. Albanese will not sack hapless Claire O'Neill. Albanese will not sack Greta Bowen. Albanese will not sack Gucci Bernie. Albanese will not sack the CFMEU. Albanese is snotty about Mars. Okay, Australia, I hope Albo is a giant malacca. I haven't heard that word for years. Oh my God. And no, Albo is working for, look, there's also the Jews who say people who say they are Jews who are not, okay? There is a lot of that going on. I hope people realise that. Malcolm Roberts said, killing the environment to save the planet. Net Zero Watch said, as part of a new strategy to fix climate change, scientists are proposing dropping toxic sodium hydroxide into the ocean just 10 miles southwest of Martha's Vineyard as soon as September this year, angering both locals and environmental groups. Yeah, because that's what they're not protecting the environment. They want to kill everything, right? Yeah, so when they say, sustainable, fighting climate change, environment is very different than climate change. Everybody wants to protect the environment, okay? And dropping stuff like this on it isn't going to help. It's not going to fight climate change because you can't. The climate changes, I hope you know that. It not only goes through seasons, but there's longer term changes that the climate goes through. And it's been going on for a very, very long time. And when you come out of an ice age, you tend to warm up a little bit, And by the way, the cold will kill more than the heat will. Okay, anyway, let's get on with this. Paulo said, Cat got a tongue. Even her own ministers are now admitting they knew about CFMEU allegations of crimson thugs. So how could Jacinta Allen MP, who had the big build portfolio, possibly not know? Hint, she did know and she's lying through her teeth. That's here in Australia. Oh my God, what is she wearing? It looks like a lamp shade. Sorry, it just looks like a lampshade. I don't know. Anyway, Australian Patriot said, Greens in action. If your city bans straws but hands out free needles, you're being governed by idiots. Okay, but a lot of Australians don't quite get it yet. I mean, there are a lot that do. There's still a lot that are totally fast asleep and still believe everything the TV tells them to. In 2008, I learned that 2008, I learned that the ABC News Australia were telling lies. And I seriously wanted to pick my TV up and throw it out the door. Okay, I really wanted to do it badly, so badly, because I was so frustrated at the lies that were coming out. This was in 2008. Okay, so what I did was just turn the TV off and never turned it back on again. In fact, I hooked up a hard drive to it and started watching stuff off that instead of normal TV. I have not watched normal TV for a very, very long time. Mark PG said, what a mess. $100 billion will be the bill next year for NDIS and Aboriginal industry. NDIS has become a crime organisation. Aboriginal industry, especially in the Northern Territory, has deteriorated to the extent of not being safe to live in. Reports of a 5-year-old being treated for syphilis, chlamydia, etc. This is disgusting. Look, where is Gucci Bernie? She is the Aboriginal minister. Why is she not in the Northern Territory? No, she lives in a city, Sydney, doesn't she? She lives in the city. She's a Gucci woman, It all matters about what she's wearing. It doesn't matter what people are doing and how they're, how a 5-year-old's being treated for syphilis and chlamydia. Jesus Christ almighty. Anyway, yep, the NDIS is a crime organisation. People are ripping it off left, right and centre. Mainly the organisation part of it, not necessarily the people who want help. National disability, like disabled people, you know. But no, the actual organisation itself is just $100 billion next year for rip-offs. People who do nothing for that money. But they get, look, it's a money laundering situation. We got massive money laundering situation going on all over the world, and that's how the world is being run currently. John Ruddock, MLC, said, I applaud the honesty for once, but it's nation-harming logic. When Bowen says the quiet bit out loud. Here it is, nuclear is risky because it undermines investment in renewable energy. The only way that could be true, this is from Oz Integrity, is if nuclear had better and more sustainable economic returns over renewables. There you have it. Labor are engaging in fraud. Do you want to hear him say it himself?
So what we know is that nuclear power is risky. It's risky because it undermines investment in renewable energy.
Did you hear that? It undermines the investment. These people all have shares in that renewable energy, right? So they're worried about their little tap being cut off, guys. Hello, Australia. I hope you're listening. Angry Aussie Loves Australia said, great stuff. Eretz Israel said an American pro-Palestine college student on vacation in Sweden attempts the same tactics she did on a US campus. She quickly discovers that Swedish police are far less tolerant. I'm sorry, no. Ah! Okay. Sorry if I just blew your ears off there, guys.
Hey.
No. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's what you get when you try and do it everywhere, okay? This is what should happen anyway. Look, seriously. If you want to go fight for Palestine, we'll start a GoFundMe and we'll send you all over there. How's that? Gunther Eagleman said, God bless Peggy Dodson for... Oh, yes, this lady. I'm going to play this on Rumble. I don't think I should play it here. Verica says, tense moment, audience turns on COVID scientist in footage Channel 7 doesn't want you to see. 7 called out for editing out crucial moment from COVID special. For people who've had COVID, excuse me. For people who've had COVID, excuse me. Let me finish, Professor Boo said. Boo? I don't know. People who have had COVID, people who haven't been vaccinated get more severe disease and they're more likely to get long COVID. I haven't had the flu in 4 years. I haven't got a vaccine. I didn't mask up. I didn't do anything. The audience erupted with one man shouting, bullshit. That's fucking lies, mate, another yelled. You should hand your license back, another added. That's the biggest lie, and snake oil salesmen were also heard being shouted from audience members. Well done. And they did, and people should see it. McAnimus said, CFMEU, Jacinda Allen and Daniel Andrews are in serious strife, corrupt to the core. Dear anyone who can help, I own a medium-sized business. We currently employ about 40 staff. We're obviously in severe distress at the moment due to the coronavirus, but the truth is we haven't been doing well for some time. We used to be a supplier of blank to blank, and since their collapse have struggled to keep going. Now with the coronavirus, we found ourselves quickly running out of work and also having many contracts we had secured being cancelled and also virtually no new work. We have had to start making staff redundant. We have an EBA with the CFMEU and they've been vehemently opposed to what we have had to do regardless of the circumstances. They've now taken to entering our workplace, intimidating the remainder of the staff and ordering them to down tools. And they've been extremely intimidating to myself and my business partner Blank, even taking videos of him and posting them on Facebook. They are citing safety issues in our workplace, but these are completely fabricated and proven so by WorkSafe inspectors who have visited our site to review the suspected breaches. Can you please make an effort to end this absolute thuggery so we can do the best we can to keep our businesses viable? I find it an absolute disgrace that the CFMEU want to close our business down and make 40 of their members and the rest of our staff unemployed. On behalf of myself and my partner and all our employees, I thank you in anticipation of your assistance. This was to Daniel Andrews, Sonia Kilkenny, Jacinda Allen. Okay? That is corruption. Okay, Sophie's still fighting, said WF, UN and the transgender agenda. I won't be able to play that from the beginning, will I? No, it's going to stay there.
LGBTQI equality, which is also known as PGLE. And PGLE was launched right here in 2019 and is a project of WEF and the UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights.
Bingo.
We work with the news, business, entertainment, faith leaders, sports, governments, and individual activists from around the globe to ensure.
Okay, so what I've heard so far is the LGBTQ agenda started at the WEF, and they work with governments and media and everybody around the world to push it.
Ensure and educate public people on LGBTQ issues and move policy forward. In the U.S., the Gallup poll this year showed that over 20% of Gen Z are LGBT. We've been running studies ourselves that include the Q, and so it's LGBTQ, and we expand the age from 18 to 34, and you can see nearly 40% of Gen Zers identify.
So since 2019, they've turned 40% of Gen Z into LGBTQ.
As LGBTQ. Today, I'm
crazy. But as if we didn't know, but anyway. Okay, okay. Joe Biden was supposed to be in hospice and currently and unlikely to survive the night, but apparently he's back. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Okay, someone is replying to ABC News. Obviously, they've said, oh, Kamala, she's the greatest. Or what? Okay, let's have a look. Only minutes after US Vice President Kamala Harris announced she would run for president, deeply offensive false narratives about her begin to resurface. Really? Okay, let's have a look.
Today is today. And yesterday was today yesterday. Tomorrow will be today tomorrow. So live today, so the future today will be as the past today as it is tomorrow. Today is today.
I don't know about this one, but I think she was drinking with Nancy Pelosi at the time. I don't know, it just seems that way. The way she's talking, they've slowed it down or done something. Surely. Tony Black said it's all on video. Don't think Trump has much to worry about. Let's have a look at this.
As we all know, elections matter.
Shh, that was loud.
And when folks vote, they order what they want, and in this case, they got what they asked for.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
I am here, standing here on the northern flank, on the eastern flank, talking about what we have in terms of the eastern flank and our NATO allies.
It is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically that's wrong.
We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't know.
We must together work together to see where we are headed, where we are going, and our vision for where we should be, but also see it as a moment, yes, to together address the challenges.
We have the ability to see what can be, unburdened by what has been,
and then to make the possible actually happen.
What is at stake at this very moment? What is at stake this very moment are some of the guiding principles around the NATO alliance.
As it relates to what we need to do domestically as well as what we need to do in terms of this issue generally, we have, as the President said, reevaluated what we're doing.
Based on what we've just been able to see, and because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened. But just limited to what we have seen.
Oh dear God. That was horrific to try and... That was seriously hard to watch. Wow. Okay. Dr. Ahmad Malik said it's communism. We're living in a communist society. Most people can't see it. Episode 199 is out. Links in bio. I do believe we are, actually. Look at... look at all the immigration. People coming in getting given more than what you get in your own country. That's sharing the wealth around, isn't it? Okay. Now from this one. James Melville said, USA. Cloud seeding is booming. We've been manipulating weather for a very long time. We've been doing this since the 1940s from ABC News. They're starting to admit the quiet part out loud.
That cloud seeding is booming. They anticipate at least another 200 ground cloud seeding machines to be put in before next season.
Ginger, this is such a cool concept, but is it too good to be true? I mean, how do we know that the chemicals that they're spraying from the air aren't bad for us or the planet?
The good news is we've been doing this since the 1940s and 50s. Other countries do it, and there have been a lot of research projects that have shown that the silver iodide, for example, is not found. It's negligible once it gets down to ground level.
So, again, I don't want to be too skeptical, but is there anything wrong with manipulating nature like this?
I think that's the question we should have asked when we built every single parking lot and every rooftop. We have been manipulating weather with us for a very long time.
And people are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. There you go. Is there a mixture of things contributing to the sickness in the world today? I believe there is. I believe this is just one of the many things, apart from food, water, things that you stab in your arm.
I do think that looking at and continuing research on when these programs get bigger, if it will affect people downstream, that needs to be watched.
At least we're manipulating it now.
You should know if it affects people downstream if you've been doing it since the 40s, wouldn't you? You'd think they'd know. I think they do. I think they just don't care. Okay, Stephen said switching to renewables will cost us $1.5 trillion, but Chris Bowen tells us that according to science, we can't use our coal here, but China and India can use that same coal over there. Yeah, he is poison. They all are. All Labor are.
And they're coming up with bright ideas on the other side of the election. Point one, no credibility. Point two, nuclear is the most...
He can't even say nuclear properly. Oh, my God. Okay.
Expensive form of energy. We have a cost of living crisis, energy prices going through the roof, and what's their big bright idea? They say, let's have the most expensive form of energy we can possibly think of. Let's come up with the most expensive form of energy and let's put that in the system because that's going to make power prices cheaper. They want that debate? They really want to argue that? Bring it on.
Go on then. I want to see you debate them. You weasel of a man.
It's just a complete joke.
Yeah, well, people want to debate him, but he won't. He's just calling everyone a conspiracy theorist now. See? Call people names when you run out of argument. Declaration of memes. It's bullseye. Switzerland has a stunningly high rate of gun ownership. Here's why it doesn't have mass shootings. They don't have the FBI, the CIA. That's a good joke. It's a joke. It's YouTube, bloody idiots. Honestly, YouTube algorithm cannot tell a joke from being serious. They can't distinguish sarcasm because they use AI, which is not very smart. Okay. Rosita Diaz said Anthony Albanese continues to lie to Australians about the magnitude of his treasonous, unprecedented immigration surge. If you agree we cannot afford to wait until the next election to stop Labor's destruction of our country, please sign the Zero Immigration petition, which I did. Albanese's broken yet another promise. Despite pledging to reduce immigration to 395,000 in the 2023-24 financial year, He has allowed 445,510 immigrants into Australia. So this is what happens when you go to rent somewhere. You are lining up with hundreds of other people vying for the same house, and it's awful. I can't even find a house that's worth, like, that I could afford. I'm lucky. I'm very lucky. I've got the one I'm in right now. First world problems. Okay, I can't play this here because of the music in the background. But if you tolerate this, then your children will be next, will be next, will be next, will be next. Okay. Roseanne Barr said the difference between right-wing disinformation and the truth is 1 month. And the right-wing disinformation now takes over from conspiracy theories, see? Jack Pozo said, remember 1 month ago it was disinformation to say there was something wrong with Biden's health? I agree. Okay, concerned citizen said Biden 4 years ago, I'll develop some disease and resign.
If I reach something where there's a fundamental disagreement we have based on a moral principle, I'll develop some disease and say I have to resign. We don't have that. We haven't, and we discussed.
Wow, there you go. Interesting, isn't it? Okay, Wall Street Ape said there's a show called Upload on Amazon Prime from 2020. In the show, there's a poster on the wall that's a campaign flyer for the 2024 presidential election. On the flyer, Joe Biden is no longer on the Democrat ticket, but Kamala Harris is. Oprah Kamala? Are they going to try that one? What do you think? Do you think they'd seriously try it? Yeah, this is the one where she says she hasn't been to Europe. I can't read that, I don't think, on here. I'll do that one on Rumble. The opinionated black woman auntie said, let me fix that headline, 25-year-old Australian woman. Oh, I can't even read this one either. There's a worrying story coming out of Paris. Apparently the mainstream news can say this word, but most of us can't. But apparently she was gang assayed by 5 Africans over in Paris. Okay, I don't think I need to listen to the details of that one. Yeah, it's not looking good. Irish, hey, Irish people are not playing around. Locals have put an end to the construction of a migrant centre. The workers have fled and equipment is set on fire. Ireland is not accepting gangs of illegals being dumped on our land. Go Ireland. Chaya Rachik said what the Democrats are doing now is literally House of the Dragon. They staged a coup against the rightful leader, installed a different leader, and hid the sick king away without telling people what his condition was, and nobody knew who was running the kingdom. Okay, well, now they bought him back out. Is it the real Biden? Who knows? Then we have, the Secret Service, the Director of Secret Service, getting grilled by Marjorie Taylor Greene and a lot of other people as well. Lisa, the hardcore lefties are going ballistic on X tonight because Jacinta Price dared to say on 7:30 report that Indigenous Australians were every bit as capable as everybody else. She dared to say vulnerable Indigenous children should not be forced to remain in dysfunctional, disadvantaged situations. She dared to say Indigenous leaders in remote communities should have the support to create economic opportunities. Hear, hear. She dared to say excellence should be expected of Indigenous children, not lesser. Well said. Jacinta, you nailed it. Liam O'Neill, Israel, oh my God. Oh, this is one of those lefties. Why are we interviewing the Shadow Indigenous Affairs Minister rather than the Minister Sarah Ferguson? Jacinta Price does not speak for Aboriginal people. When she had the chance on Council of Alice Springs, she was hardly even there. She's a fraud. No, she was. She's not a fraud. She is absolutely committed to serving Alice Springs Council for at least the next 4 years. There's much work to be done and she looks forward to it. I believe she can do. She'd do a better job than bloody Bernie. Yeah, this is a hardcore lefty going ballistic on X tonight because she dared say things that needed to be said. Okay, we got this one. I think it's got music behind it. I can't play anything with music here. YouTube just keeps hammering me. Matt Couch said, what the fuck? Governor Wes Moore said Donald Trump is about to find out being President of the United States is a black job. Why does this guy look like he puts makeup on and wigs on? And I don't know. He's got a more feminine face than Kamala has. What's going on here? I don't know. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry if that offends anyone, but wow. Oh, Greek Mish said 50 million Australians. Where? Are you high? Australian News said, breaking, more than 50 million Australian polled wanted Peter Dutton to be Australian Prime Minister immediately. Do you? I don't think we have 50 million people in Australia. That's where this come from. Geekmish said 50 million Australians. Where? Are you high? Oh, that's a scam page nowadays. It had potential promise once upon a time. 50 million Australians want the orc. Must be a Sky News poll. No. 26,699,482. What? Percent just went on Google. Okay, illegals included. I don't think we have that many people in Australia, do we? Oh dear. Probably next year's immigration factored in. Yeah, I believe we don't have that many people in Australia. Yeah, future immigration. Wow. David Pilates said this is a powerful segment with Elon talking to Jordan Peterson. I was simultaneously mad out of my mind and had tears for what happened to Elon and his son. Someone took advantage of Elon and his lack of knowledge on puberty blockers. Horrendous deceit. I'm not sure I could have done the interview. I'm still livid. Okay, let's have a listen.
It happened to one of my older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This was before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. You know, I was told, oh, Xavier might commit suicide if he.
That was a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil, and I agree with you that the people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
That's
so I was tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
all right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty, and lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that. And we're making some progress.
Join the club.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happened to one of my.
So apparently that's what happened. Christopher F. Rufo said, I'm proud to announce we're dramatically expanding the Manhattan Institute Logos initiative. We brought on Antonin Scalia as senior advisor. We'll hire a team of investigative reporters and host a summit on rhetoric and power in Washington, D.C. In addition, we will expand operation to include polling and model legislation. Our aim is to expose the corruption of America's institutions, mobilise public opinion and drive concrete political action. What we've done with critical race theory, gender cultism and academic corruption, We will do for the full suite of domestic policy, and we will be relentless in each and every campaign. Applications are now open for the first investigative reporter role. We'll be hiring quickly, so apply now at the Manhattan Institute. In the previous era, men such as James Burnham uncovered the web of subversion in America's institutions and defeated the left-wing menace. We will carry the torch. To the enemies of freedom, you're now on notice. We will expose you and root you out. No hesitation. There you go. Christopher F. Rufo. Okay, and everyone was, saying that Joe Biden is going and final preparations are being made. So who knows what has happened. Okay, I'll have to read that on Rumble. Okay. They're going to be sued, the FDA, shortly. Okay, in Leeds, in England's city of Leeds, all hell is breaking loose after British police are forced to retreat. Migrant mobs are now taking over. Okay, Director Kim Cheadle, again being questioned. We'll go over that on Rumble. Rob Schneider said, now Biden's transferring powers to his cabinet. Unauthorised narratives said now presidential functions are being delegated to the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Treasury. Nothing to see here. Memorandum of the delegation of certain functions and authorities under the Rebuilding Economic Prosperity and Opportunity for Ukrainians Act. Wow. Okay. Update. A verified source from US Civil Defense News has informed the global press team that Joe Biden is currently in hospice care and unlikely to survive the night. Well, who's walking around now? Okay, we've got more stuff. What's this one? Oh, dear God, do we have to?
It is so good to hear our president's voice.
Yes.
Joe, I know you're still on the call. And we've been talking every day. You guys heard it from Doug's voice. We love Joe and Jill. We really do. They truly are like family to us. And we do, everybody here does.
It's mutual.
I knew you were still there. You're not going anywhere, Joe.
I'm watching you, kid. I'm watching you, kid. I love you.
I love you, Joe. Oh. It is so good to hear.
And apparently she did say, Joe's on a call. So she went to say recording. She said call. Okay, firstly, lol, you clowns ran 3 episodes and the completely debunked. Oh, this is replying to ABC News. Only minutes after, okay. Deeply offensive false narratives about her began to... Well, Polybard commented, firstly, lol, you clowns ran 3 episodes on the completely debunked Russian collusion hoax that Democrats created. Secondly, she is an awful person. Other Democrat candidates like Tulsi and Biden outed her for it in 2020 campaign debates. Go cry on your own dime. The ABC is a leftist propaganda outfit paid by taxpayers. Defund it. Okay. Kate said this piece is from the Fin Review Today, Ozpol. Fear of CFMEU reprisals keeps building bosses silent. The country's biggest builders and developers say the CFMEU's grip on the construction sector has sent costs skyrocketing and damaged productivity, yet they remain reluctant to speak out publicly, fearing retaliation from the militant union. There is a lot I could say, but to be honest, I'm still very wary of publicly making any comments and could not risk our name being attached to any comments for fear of retribution, said one major East Coast apartment developer. That refrain was echoed by the leaders across construction and property development, canvassed by the Australian Financial Review, who are wary of attracting industrial strife to their projects. My hesitation is that we have Labor governments everywhere, and I'm not convinced they will follow through with their convictions, the chief executive of one of the country's biggest builders told Financial Review. If I go out there and put all this on record and then in 6 months this turns into nothing, and they, the government, feel they've done enough to appease the public, then I'll be cooked. The retaliation. I wouldn't be able to work in this industry again. The boss at another major construction firm said I can't say anything on record. This gets really, really sensitive. We're exposed industrially everywhere. Every builder is the same. Builders have got no power at all. All we want is a fair and reasonable relationship. So what's going on is the CFMEU are holding it over everyone's head. And who else thinks they've got info on the government? Okay, Craig Kelly said the climate scam relies upon an ignorance of history. July 20, 1928, a cable from London on Sunday stated that Western Europe was suffering under a record heat wave. London, Paris, Berlin and Vienna were sweltering under tropical heat. A cable from London on Wednesday stated that 50 persons were drowned in lakes and rivers of Poland during the heat wave, which reached 122.5 Fahrenheit, 51.9 degrees Celsius. The rivers, notably the Vistula, are so low that navigation has been abandoned in the upper courses and is likely to soon cease altogether. Heatwave in Western Europe. A cable from London Sunday stated that Western Europe was suffering under a record heat wave. London, Paris, Berlin were sweltering under tropical heat. Bathing centres were packed with visitors and hundreds of bathing casualties have been reported. The heat in Paris on Sunday was 98 degrees. 50 persons were taken to hospital with sunstroke. 50 persons drowned. A cable from London on Wednesday stated that over 50 persons were drowned in the lake and rivers of Poland during the heat wave, which reached 125.5 Fahrenheit. This was July 20th, 1928. Mike Hudema said the powerful and prolonged heat wave is forecast to continue across the Balkan Peninsula and Eastern Europe, with temperatures reaching 42 to 44 degrees Celsius. This is more than 10 degrees Celsius above the average for mid-July period. This isn't normal. Act on climate. Yeah. See, they want you to freak out. But hey, this happened back in July 20th, 1928. It was hotter. How's that? Yep. Paris heatwave warps the Eiffel Tower. Back then, in 1920. Okay, but today's hotter, isn't it? Yep. Okay, Brian BJ said capital flags are running at half-mast. Combined with Harris's flying to Delaware, are we witnessing the transfer of power? Possibly the death of a sitting president? Angry Aussie said bloody Clinton's got him, lol. The Clinton body count. Okay, Carly Bones said, well, that was fast. Breaking news, Kamala Harris has secured the support of enough Democrat delegates to win the presidential nomination, apparently. So quick. What else have we got in here? The Secret Service Director again. Oh, yeah. Andy No said at the height of the deadly BLM Antifa riots in June 2020, that saw neighbourhoods, building and police stations burned down and violently occupied. Oh, they were mostly fiery but peaceful protests, remember? Kamala Harris encouraged it to continue. They're not going to let up, nor should they, she said.
Clear that I know that there are protests still happening in major cities across the United States. I'm just not seeing the reporting on it that I had
that's right.
for the first few weeks.
That's right. But they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And they're not, this is a movement, I'm telling you. They're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not. And we should not.
Clear that I know that.
Okay, so there you go. Kamala Harris is on BLM's side. The same BLM that the head person bought 3 mansions with or something. Okay, we got more on Kimberly Cheadle, the director Cheadle. Bitchute calling her a complete DEI horror story. Nancy Mace just filed privilege motion to impeach Kim Cheadle. I see all these reports of Joe Biden only having days to live, right? And now he's back. What do you think? I reckon that Obama, the mask falling off, even though it's a fake video, that's probably more likely. Okay, what have we got here? What else have we got? We've got a lot on that Cheadle. Wendy Patterson said, breaking news, the communists in charge of YouTube are banning everything Trump again. Trump's nephew, they're banning me from everything since my song was played at the RNC. All 50 videos were just deleted from his YouTube channel. All music for 15 years have been deleted from all streaming platforms. He's not really Trump's nephew, but, you know, he's... So everything Trump's going to be deleted again, is it? Okay. Since when is this black culture? Kamala Harris? Because that's Kamala Harris's family. Oh, it was this one. I know you're still on the record. Okay, let's have a listen.
It is so good to hear our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call, and we've been talking every day. You guys heard it from Doug's voice. We love Joe and Jill. We really do. They truly are like family.
There you go. It's the beginning of it. She nearly said recording. Okay. Okay, that's it for today. That's it for here for today. Hopefully you can join me over on Rumble for the rest of it. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, guys, have a good one. Bye.